So separating family members or excommunicating or communicating or giving punishments and doing all kinds of, so women in was only a labor or a person who used to do all kinds of work for the family. Women were not given education. They were sex objects, while which violated all rights. There was an interesting practice in Kerala, in Trivandrum, and see, women were not supposed to cross the rivers. River. If women crossed the river, that was a problem for them. That was a socially tough. For example, in Trivandrum, there is a river which flows through the city. That was Karamana River. Women were not supposed to cross the river. And in Malabar region, which is in northern Kerala, there was another river, Karapuzha. Women were not supposed to cross that river. Then they used to see. So what does this mean? It means that women led an immobile life. Immobile means their mobility was very less. They were all supposed to live inside home without any mobility. They cannot travel. Among lower caste women also the situation was no better, but comparatively better compared to the upper caste. So there is a feeling that the matriarchal family in Kerala was very powerful. Women had a role. Of course, in matriarchal family, in principle, women was the head of the family. But all the money matters, financial matters, were controlled by the male member of the family. It was the male member who decided. That means the brother of the head of the family used to decide all the financial and important decisions were taken by male members. So matriarchy, though in principle gave some rights, and therefore there is a saying that Kerala was a land where women used to rule. No, it was only in principle. It was men who used to control everything. So social mobility was very limited in Kerala, even for among the Nair community, which primarily practiced the matriarchy. Women were, if you look at the Kerala literature, women were compared to they were compared as fools, wicked people. They were compared to crows, blacks. So they never had any value. They were considered as jealous. They were considered as loose people with loose behavior, supposed to entertain women. And there was also another practice of sambandham. As I said, in Nambudiri families, only the eldest of the family member could marry. Others could not marry. But they had another practice to meet their sexual requirements, which was known as sambandham. Sambandham is an unofficial relationship which the unmarried members of the Brahmin family used to have with the members of the locality, particularly of the Nair community, where they used to maintain illicit or unofficial married relationship with the women. And there was another strange practice in Kerala where when a lower caste person marries, the first night of the wife, the lady, was supposed to be with the landlord. If a lower caste person marries, then the first night of that lady or the wife of the lower caste person is with the landlord. See, these were the kind of practices in Kerala across caste, upper caste, lower caste, middle level caste. So all these were, created on the logic of masculine logic or the male dominated society. Among these groups, comparatively, the lower caste women were comparatively better for the reason that lower caste women and men were all oppressed by the upper caste and other caste. Therefore, they never had any occasion to have any kind of discussions on operation, because they were all slaves. The lower caste people in Kerala were all slaves in the past. So they never had any human existence. And therefore, lower caste men and women had comparatively equal existence of a very wretched in human life. Historically, this is what Kerala was used to be. So that was one of the reasons why many writers who studied Kerala, like Vivekananda, like many other writers, English authors, etc., described Kerala as a mental asylum. You know, and if you look at the male masculine hegemony, you had another interesting. Kerala was dominated by male. If you look at the literature and art forms in Kerala, you will find almost all the literary works, art forms, dances, or whatever it is, it all celebrated strong, white, courageous, physically high, tall, and strong men. All the literary works were related to their strength, their stories of men, particularly literature. And if you look at the folklore and other cultural forms, you will find such a traditional male masculinity, the male characters being, celebrated in the literature, in folklore. And there were a bravery, there were a tradition in Kerala where men were martyrs to protect the honor of the family. So that practice was there in North Malabar. So all these practices show that art, culture, literature, all were dominated by men. See, in women in Kerala in the past, now the situation is different. They were not given education. So this was the Kerala in the past. Now there are a lot of changes, but though Kerala appears to be fully literate, is a developed state in many respects, in many human development indices, I would say the influence of this historical practice of denying human rights to women continues even now. If you look at various fields, you will find women are exploited even now as a continuation of the past. For example, in a progressive, if you look at some of the problems, wages are different for men and women in Kerala, even now. So I'm looking at some of the contemporary practices. How, if you look at the contemporary issues in Kerala, I can give you an example of how contemporary Kerala treat women. Kerala is a land of moral policing. If a men and women sit together, then there are people who interfere in their affairs. There are many cases of young people being beaten up for sitting together or talking to each other. So that is a problem here. So moral policing in Kerala it is called. Violence against women in India is highest in Kerala. That is what the records are. There may be better recording or filing of cases, but violence against women is one of the highest in Kerala. And if you look at the family, we conducted a survey in which we asked where do they face the most instances of human rights violation. It was found that family was the place where human rights were violated the most in Kerala. Quite often we have a misunderstanding that family is a very secure place where rights of women are not violated. But in our survey it was said that family is a place where women do not enjoy equality, women do not enjoy liberty or justice. They have to do all the works even now. So family is a site of equality. Kerala is one of the states in India where we have only women MLAs 140 MLAs, which is one of the lowest in India. And only there are 3 women Kerala. Of course, they are given dowry. Knowing there is a mad rush for gold. That's all related to property rights. They have no equal rights. So that in Kerala. Based on that, there are fight between the girls' family and the boys' family, and in progressive state in many realism, the influence of religion and caste is very powerful here even now. So when there was a discussion, you must be knowing that the Shabarimala temple should be open to women. So the women came out in Kerala. The idea of God does not permit the Lord. When right to vote was given to women in Europe, came out in the streets and said that they don't want the right to vote. Similarly, in the 1850s, women were the upper part of their body. When they were given the freedom to cover the upper part of their body, some sections of women came out and said they don't want to cover the upper part of body because it was against their religious practices and so on. Even now, religion is caste is a very powerful factor. Though socially, when it comes to other religious practices, when it comes to, appointing pujaris in temples, only upper class people are. So this is a problem in Kerala. Women are not appointed as pujaris in most cases. Women are not priests. Shows how socio-cultural community Kerala is. And then on questions related to body autonomy, when a women becomes, they attain age, as we call menstrual age, there are a lot of practices in relation to the right of women over their body, in relation to childbirth, in relation to contraceptives, abortion, or marriage. Women's rights are widely violated. They do not have freedom of their body. We call it body autonomy in contemporary terms. Best example is menstrual customs. You must be knowing that in Tamil Nadu or in other parts of India also those customs are there. So there are many. So in Kerala, women do more jobs than men in Kerala, particularly working women find it very difficult to manage household responsibilities and workplace responsibilities. I know because I am director of the UGC, MMDTC. There are so many college teachers, particularly women, come for training. And they have this mental strain of balancing, mental and physical strain of balancing office duty and household duties. This is a serious problem. Labor anticipation, the prospects of getting a job for women, educated women in Kerala is very, very less. That is why a lot of women from Kerala go out as nurses and other works. So that's a problem. Men and women get different wages. There are a lot of statistics which show how women are discriminated. Most of the uneducated unemployment in Kerala are women. Most of the all the women are educated, but they do not get any job, either in government sector or private sector. And if you look at the private cyber attacks, today in Kerala, women are subjected to a lot of cyber attacks, treating them as sexual objects. You must be heard the story of a jewelry businessman, Bobby Chemanur, attacking Honey Rose with a double meaning about her body parts, sexual remarks. So, and then another area is digital divide, where women do not have equal access to digital devices compared to men. In Kerala, there are a lot of urban sex rackets operating. Problems faced by contemporary women in Kerala, which are nothing but violation of human rights. So women have a problem of asserting their rights, enjoying their rights, denial of equal rights. They cannot enjoy rights objectively. So these are some of the issues. We conducted a survey. We asked them, what are your problems? Even now, women say dowry is the most important problem. Alcoholism among men, alcohols, they take liquor and come home and beat up women is a problem. So they say they are economically, not self-reliant. That's another problem that they face. Economically, they are not self-reliant. They have to depend on men. Even working women give their salary to men. See, our studies showed that 62% of women did not favor entry of women in Shabarinala. So these are some of the problems. If you look at these problems, you will find there is a historical connect to the contemporary problems faced by women in Kerala, because historically women were an exploited group in Kerala, and that tradition continues in different forms in Kerala in terms of denial of equal wages, alcoholism, dowry, digital attacks, cyber attacks, lack of mobility, violence, lack of political equality, digital divide, moral policing. All these are examples of how women are still mistreated in Kerala, and therefore they are all instances of human rights violations, which we must all understand very clearly. But at the same time, the picture is not that gloomy. There are so many developments that make Kerala women empowered, despite this gloomy picture. It is not everything that is bad. You might have heard about Kudumbasri, which is doing great work. Around 40 lakh women come out and work in Kudumbasri, and that have given them a kind of economic self-reliance, which is fundamental to the freedom of women. So that is a great achievement. Kudumbasri in Kerala is a model to the world. And there are other organizations. There are a lot of feminist groups working in Kerala, feminist groups, which take up their cause. You might have heard about the Women Collective in Cinema, who have highlighted the problems of women working in cinema. There are organizations like Anveshi, where they take up the problems of women. There are women groups who have included gender studies into the curriculum and syllabus. Various feminist groups, feminist academicians do that. So that's a picture for them. And there are women wing for political parties, which take up the case of women among political parties, almost all the political parties. And there are very good women writers, artists, who take up the cause of women in Kerala. And there are, equal wages acts have been passed by the government, where they have taken some initiatives. In Kerala, there was a practice in some of the jewelries and textile shops. The sales girls were not permitted to sit while selling the products. They had to stand from, say, 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe up to 9 in the evening. 12 hours they have to stand. And there was a strike named Right to Sit strike. Very strange. Human beings cannot sit. Women cannot sit. What a subhuman, wretched life is this. So, these are all. There were nuns in Kerala who came out, priests, nuns came out against the atrocities of Bishop Franco. There were nurses' strikes. There were strikes for women in unemployment sector, unorganized sector. So these are all some of the bright lights where women are getting empowered. But unfortunately, all this is happening. There are a lot of problems that women in Kerala face, despite the progressive outlook or progressive elements in Kerala. There are a lot of elements that are empowering women. But the matter of the fact is that though women are empowered, they are not liberated in human rights standards. And therefore, I come back to what I said in the beginning. What I said in the beginning was that women are not able to assert their right completely. They are not getting active respect for their rights. They are not getting equal treatment. They are not getting objective enjoyment. Therefore, in many cases, women in Kerala, historically and even contemporary times, do not have a decent and dignified life, despite all the talk about the progressive Kerala, the developed Kerala.